right, welcome back to the Blerds. I am Calibus Rand, and with me I have the showrunner of the Blerds, Mr. Bishop Xavier, Marky Mark, and joining us for his first debut is Vincent. And of course, we have Rashad, who says he's going to be here in just a second. I've contacted Snoop. Don't know where Snoop is, Bishop. This is your show, sir. So, without further ado, oh, and by the way, next time you will be doing this intro.
Oh, hey, look, I was ready to do it now.
Oh, okay. So, take the show away, sir.
Hey, well, welcome, Portalites. You know, this is the Blurred Show, and where we, black nerds, we want to talk about things of fandom. And tonight we got something special for you. It might be a little controversial. Somebody's feelings may get hurt, but what we want to talk about is blackwashing versus whitewashing. And so, well, first of all, before we get started, I want to give you guys a definition of what blackwashing is. Blackwashing is the practice of replacing a traditionally white character or role with a black actor. Okay? And whitewashing is the practice of erasing people of color, either through replacing a minority character with a white character, or more commonly, a white actor replacing a minority actor in a portrayal of a character of color. So we have seen that going on for a long period of time. I mean, I can't tell you the first time I seen it. Actually, I think one of the first times I remember seeing it was Batman Returns, where Billy D. Williams plays Harvey Dent.
Batman 1989, not Batman Returns.
Oh, Batman 1989. Oh, yeah, that's right. All right,
89.
Batman 1989.
That's when we got Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams, the great Billy. And look, I don't know
Harvey
about the rest. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I remember sitting in the theater and I was watching that, and I was like, "Oh my God, Billy D. Williams is going to play Two-Face," and I was so forward. I was looking so much to see him to play this character, because we've all of us know how smooth Mr. Colt 45 Billy D. Williams is, and for him to take on this maniacal role of Two-Face, I could not wait to see it. So let's get everybody's thoughts on this.
I think we should throw the new guy into the fire.
Okay, Vincent, it's on you.
Oh, outstanding! Y'all would do that to me. I was telling Calibus, I had a lot of thoughts. I was looking forward to this. Thanks, y'all, for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're more than welcome, man.
This is something I've thought about often. I'm glad I have a venue, to talk about it. I don't know, my takes might be considered hot. We'll see. We'll see what the people out there say. But I think if done properly in a way that makes sense and respects the source material, I think it could be done well if everyone checks their feelings and keeps all the other stuff aside. And like the example I like to use is Nick Fury, right? So traditionally you had the white Nick Fury, and I like the original Nick Fury character, like his character. The fact that he was white didn't mean anything, what he was into and all that stuff, his leadership and everything. And then some years later, so full disclaimer, I'm 41. So what some things I probably missed, but when I saw the black Nick Fury, I was like, wait, hold on, what? I saw it in passing one day. I was like, what is this? I was like, that looks like Sam Jackson. Come find out, who he was based on. And so that worked because it was a totally different universe. Still had the same, I think, baseline respect for the character, what Nick Fury represented. But they didn't. And then he was a polished soldier. He was espionage, clandestine operations, all that good stuff. But he wasn't, he didn't seem to have, as far as I know, I never read anything about his backstory or anything, which is, hey, this is Nick Fury. This is what he's into. He's into some stuff. All right. So I think it has to be done well. What I don't want is, and what I don't appreciate is, especially if a character is made black and it doesn't make sense. If like, okay, but why though? And let's say if they made Steve Rogers, if they made Cap, and I love Cap, he's one of my favorite characters, right?
Mine too.
Panther is one of my favorite characters, a War Machine. Uh, but if they made Steve Rogers black and just arbitrarily, like, but why though? Like,
Right.
who is this for? Because I like
Right.
Steve Rogers as he was. I have no problem with him, you know. So I think there's a whole lot that can be said about it. I think too, I think we have to give not a pass, but give creators, well, at least give them an opportunity to understand the limits of their creativity, especially if they create a black character or something like that, or change the race of a character, and then their background doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, we don't know any black people who are actually like this. You know, the limits of their own personal experience, you know, so that could be solved by hiring more people of diverse ethnic backgrounds to create these characters, or if the desire is really to do this, to change those characters to reach a new audience, do it in a way with people who are from there in such a way that it makes sense. You know, I think you just have a lot of arbitrary doing things. And then with the whitewashing of characters too, I mean, that's like, why are we changing? Just keep things, or just create a new original. And at the end of the day, I think there's no original ideas out there. It's like, oh, let's just take so and so and switch it up and to reach this new audience, because market research shows like your market research shit. It's like, come on, it's not working. See people mad. Why you gotta make people mad? You know, it's not even about status quo. It's about respect for the story and stuff like that. You know, that's what I'll say for now. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah,
You know,
Mr. Mark, Mr. Mark, let's hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, so part of it, I do have to agree with Vincent on that. If the character is done well, switching it up is not too bad. One character that I felt was not done well was when they changed Jimmy Olsen for Supergirl to McKay Brooks. I did not like him as Jimmy Olsen at all, and it wasn't the color thing. It was just the story in itself was not. It wasn't done well at all. You know, just putting him in that character really wasn't a great idea. A lot of times, some of the characters that they do come up with, they just change arbitrarily. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work. He's the main one that I can think of that I didn't think worked. You got Iris West. Originally, they changed her. That was okay. With the new stuff going on now, I'm okay with that. Even with the movie, when you think about when it comes to the Flash in general, with the new movie with his mother, that's a totally different change.
Yep.
So
but it worked.
It did work. I was surprised when they did it, but it did work in that story. So,
and I was and not to interrupt you. I said not to interrupt you. I did not realize that. I don't know if Ezra Miller is Hispanic, but in the for those of us who have not watched The Flash yet, I watched it over the weekend, and his mother being Hispanic, his father being Hispanic, and
his father wouldn't have been, because now that's the part I have to say, because the original, if you watch Justice League, he was Jewish, so
but Ezra says that in Justice League, that he's a Jewish kid.
So his father.
So maybe he's Hispanic Jewish.
Yeah, his father's not Hispanic. His mother's Hispanic, but his father's Jewish.
Okay,
so that's the way they put that in. So it worked though. I mean, I had no issues with that. So that was great. Yeah, I mean, but it just depends on how they do it. Some of the characters work out well. That did work for me. I didn't have any issues with that at all. I have a hard time thinking about ones that didn't work, where they just changed it to be changing it. I can see where some of them had that issue. This one was fine for me, but like I said, Jimmy Olsen on Supergirl, that's one I just didn't like at all. So that would have been my only issue with that one.
Calibus?
Well, you and I've said it. We've said this from the beginning. As much as we are DC, and you and I, you Superman, I'm Batman. Marky Mark is Superman and Batman.
I'm the Batman
DC
now.
was pretty much a white person's club. It was, you know what I mean. You had, Black Lightning, and then of course you didn't have the rights for Black Lightning, so we had Black Vulcan. It would seem like that every black superhero that came along was some type of lightning type power or whatnot, right? So the diversity of certain characters, making Jimmy Olsen black, did not do anything for me. That I felt like that was just something kind of stupid. I just, you know what I mean? He didn't even fit the build of a Jimmy Olsen.
I mean, he was handsome. He was a handsome looking guy, where Jimmy Olsen is this redhead, kind of nerdy.
Well, and that brings us to this next point that, like, even with the picture that you sent me, it's like we're replacing anything that was redhead, we're replacing with black people. What's going on here? Look, and I didn't even think about it, but I had forgot about the whole She-Ra thing, which, that's my go-to when I say, when someone tells me that they grew up with the IP and they understand it and they love, they have this passion for this project, and they get the project and then they totally screw it up. Right. So then, here it is, a black bow. Why?
Right, exactly.
Okay, and then if it's not even and then they make these characters gay, bisexual, or some other thing.
Listen, that's a whole nother show.
I'm just saying.
That's a whole other show, because I can
don't hit me with the double whammy to fill your numbers and check your boxes.
No. It's not a double whammy. It's a triple whammy, because you're black,
it just
gay, and you're
feminine.
You're the that's. I
mean, they take the masculinity out of most of these characters, and then they make them submissive to the women roles. And that's the part that I don't like.
Neither do I.
You change these characters.
You know what?
Kid Flash, Wally West, and because the actor is gay or bisexual,
black and gay,
then they want to make the character Sulu.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm getting a little tired of that. Anybody with color, they want to do this to, and we had that whole trope of let's make a new character, and then the people that create these characters go, well, I made a new character, but you guys didn't like it. No, you made a shitty character. That's why we didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
You brought in a character that was not resonating with the people that you made with, and now you want to get mad at us because we rejected your character.
Like the new Kal-El, not Kal-El. What is his name?
Oh, his son. Yeah.
Jonathan Kent.
Jonathan Kent. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not even. That's you. That's Superman. That's you.
I know. And again, that's not Superman.
I'm fighting for the guy who's writing Batman, who wants to tell me that Bruce never was on the streets level. He was always too busy on the street, on the rooftops. And I'm like, apparently you've never read a Batman.
They've never read a comic book.
Whoever wrote this is somebody who just doesn't understand the character.
But let me ask you this though.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. So let's talk about Batman for a minute, because I was thinking about this. So is it possible? Are there some characters that just shouldn't be touched? Take Batman. Like, he has so much connected to not just his appearance, but everything, the wealth, the privilege, everything that goes with that persona. Is it even possible to do something like that with a character like Batman?
Thank you for bringing that up, Vincent, because that hold on, we're gonna hold on to that. I want to get Rashad's thoughts on this. Did you hear what we were talking about, Rashad?
Oh yeah, I hope y'all talking about Flash movie.
We're talking about the Flash movie, but we're also talking about blackwashing versus whitewashing.
Oh man, my favorite subject. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, let's keep it tight.
Okay.
We don't have a half hour for you to give us an answer.
Yeah, I'm late too, man. I just wanted to apologize.
Oh,
First of all,
no.
guys,
You good, man? You good?
it's
You good?
Father's Day, man, and I didn't
Yes,
call
Oh,
sir.
my
then by the way,
stepdad. You know what
happy
I'm saying? So
Father's
I had
Day.
to. Yeah, thank you, man. I'm not a father, but happy Father's Day to everybody else who
Oh,
is. I
well,
appreciate it,
okay.
man. Nonetheless, man. So listen, I want to make sure I answer the question appropriately. What was the
We're
whitewashing of
just
any character, or no? We were
we're
talking
just
about
talking
Batman.
about blackwashing and whitewashing of characters.
Okay,
And
so
we're
listen.
as black men, I wanted to
hmm
get your thoughts on both.
Man, you know what? I thought we was talking about Cisco, so I wasn't really ready, but I'm always ready for this one. So let me just shake it
Okay.
off. So on a positive note, right? I love what it does for the self-esteem of our people to see a face that looks like theirs embraced by everyone, every fan,
Right.
as being heroic, as being a leader, as being a positive role model, as being good, a champion for good, and all these other qualities and expectations that we have of the real heroes, right? I love
Okay.
what it does.
Church.
I like it that I liken that to like when Obama was president, regardless of how you felt about him or the
Right.
job he did. I know
Right.
amongst black men, we walked taller, our head was held higher. We immediately have an embracing love for one another. We are more acceptable now to diplomacy before we just go to straight violence. I know we still live in some violent times, don't get me wrong, but when Obama was president, none of that stuff really mattered for a split second. You know what I'm saying? You felt good. And
Right.
I think that translates when you have that happen with those characters. But I don't like the fact that I have to be almost validated by a character that was originally white for you to see me that way. Now I know you tweak the stories, you change some appearance, some cosmetic things. Yeah, I got that. But there are characters that were originally created in their ethnicity that if you gave some care and some ingenuity and put some talent into, they could ascend. You can't tell me James Gunn can go in the lab and they give him and say, listen, we need you to make a talking tree, a raccoon, some other aliens, and this one dude from Earth, and I need you to make this a multi-billion dollar franchise. If
Right.
you put the talent is there,
Yeah.
you just have to want to do that. And there are characters that are originally created by design as by black people, that some were created by black people, not someone that
Right.
was created by someone outside of our race.
Right.
So I see that happen, and I know it's a cash grab. I know you're on the front line of data. Rich people stay rich because they can get information before everyone else in the world. So Marvel or comic book companies, they know the percentage of what people go to see their movies. How much money does African Americans spend on our brand? Oh, word? Hmm. Man, we have the lowest birth rates in the history of the world right now. We are kind of not on the forefront as far as the population anymore. We need to pass the torch and recreate this character and get even more money because they know how many percentages of brown people go to see movies, buy the toys, buy the sheets, the lunch pails, the stream the movie. They know that. They knew this. It's a win-win, and then we're going to win even hard. Like Miles Morales, I'll just use him for the example. His mother is Spanish. His father's black. Oh man, that's a home run. Now, don't get me
Right.
wrong. At the same time, it's dope. I like it, but I don't know how genuine it was. And then I get careful of criticizing people because people make effort to do good, and you're so mad because you felt like you've been kicked around so long. Sometimes you don't recognize that someone is trying to be better. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I just be optimistic, and I hope that's what Bendis was trying to do instead of it looking at it more of a business move. Now, these are answers. We may never know the answers to this, but all of a sudden we got a black Spider-Man. They're talking about a black Superman. I mean, you got black Batman. I mean, what's wrong with Vixen?
Yeah.
What's wrong
Agreed.
with Storm?
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, but you know, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot more good to me than it is bad. So I can't knock it, but so much. But I just feel like, you know, why do I have to take a knee and you have to knight me in order for the world to see me as good? Why aren't I good as I am? Why do I have to have a Batman symbol on my chest, or a Superman symbol on my chest, or a Spider-Man symbol on my chest?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to have that? You know.
Well, I mean, with that, it's again coming up with a good thing, and Duffy did it. The guys that came out with Milestone Comics,
Dwayne McDuffie.
Dwayne McDuffie, you know, he came out and he did some stuff. We had Milestone Comics come out. We had Hardware, which was basically
was that Brother Man,
Iron
Milestone
Man.
Comics?
Milestone Comics, yeah.
Yeah, I had like the first 3 issues.
Blood Syndicate and all this other stuff. But you know, and they were like, you know,
they were very militant though.
They were very militant. You know, you were thinking
they were very Afrocentric, pro-black.
Yeah, you know, and the only one that stuck was Static.
Yeah.
And Icon and Rocket.
Yeah.
Icon and Rocket, because we got them in Young Justice.
Right.
Yeah, I remember
which was awesome to see, because you know, Icon is the Black Superman. He has the same storyline, except for that, you know, he was a shape-shifting alien, and when he was found by Black people, that's the persona that his skin and his, you know,
took on that image.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but of course, you know, we dealt with, you know, Rocket gets pregnant, you know what I mean? So they had to deal with that. Just stuff that we could relate to. And
well, the comics were for us.
Yeah, the comics were for us.
They weren't for white people, they were for Black people.
Well, and that's kind of the thing. It's like when you introduce these characters, look at what Batman's done, right? So Batman didn't have all these they didn't really have any Black characters, right? The only thing they had was Bronze Tiger.
Right.
And believe me, I'm sitting here one day going through the internet, and then I read about a guy that consistently beats my hero, Batman. Then I found out that he's Black. And I'm like, what? How come we have never heard of this guy? And then they put him in Arrow, and Arrow beats him down in one, you know, and I'm like, come on, man. This is a guy that beats Batman, and there is no way in hell Green Arrow is beating Batman.
Right.
Right.
But now we have a hero in his show that gets beat down by a guy that there's just no way. There's just no way.
Well, since we're on Batman, and Vincent brought it up originally, we all know the story and the history of Batman.
Right.
So, can Batman
Bruce Wayne or Batman?
No. Can Batman be Black?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'll work fine.
That's we have
because it's working anyway right now.
Now, okay, so we all agree on that.
Wayne.
Right now, that's my next question. That's my next question.
Bruce Wayne cannot be Black. No.
Is Bruce Wayne Batman?
Is Bruce Wayne Batman? Bruce Wayne
is
Batman.
Bruce Wayne.
So if they wanted to do, if they wanted to do a Batman movie,
right?
Does he have to be Bruce Wayne?
No, we just told you to Chase Fox is Batman. So no.
The mantle can pass to whoever.
Lucius Fox's son is Batman when Batman was out of the country.
He was
Batman for a while. So that works, and you can do a movie just in that situation, and it would work fine because it would still be a Batman movie.
Yeah.
Without it being Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne, yeah.
Now, so let me pose this question to you guys. They want to do a new Batman movie. They want to do Batman Beyond. Terry McGinnis is Black.
Actually, he's going to be white and Chinese.
But I'm just saying they want to cast.
When he at first was Irish white. Now he's going to be.
Are they saying they're going to cast him? They're changing his race.
They're changing his race in the comic. They're changing it
in the comics.
In
but
the
what
comic,
I'm saying,
not the live action.
What I'm saying is they want. Let's just say they want to because of the political climate and everything we're in right now. They want to do a Batman Beyond, but they want to cast a black actor
as Batman Beyond
as Terry McGinnis.
Again, Terry McGinnis is not a staple of Batman.
Right. Exactly.
I could accept that change.
Yeah,
I don't need him to be. I don't need him to be. Well, you know what? That's not fair because he has a fan base that deserves to get what they want. That's been loyal from the beginning. So that's a question that's better for those fans. They should have that right to get what they want first, and then as it grows in popularity or branches off to other stories, then yeah, you can entertain that. But it's not fair for me to say that, and I'm not a core Batman Beyond fan. I don't know if that's cool. I wouldn't want nobody to do that to G.I. Joe after we've been suffering for so long to have something dope. And then, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, who are you, dude?
Oh, I got you.
So look, hold on. We're going to come back to that. But I want to
have a question about the Batman Beyond as well, because I know everybody's probably watched the show. And then there was an episode of Batman Beyond where Terry McGinnis went to talk to what's her name, and she had taken
Amanda Waller
DNA.
Yeah, Waller.
Bruce Wayne's DNA, injected it into his father. So Terry McGinnis is actually Bruce Wayne's son.
Exactly.
So if he's black, how is that going to work? Is he going to be biracial? Saying, it's still Bruce Wayne's son, or are they going to go with that storyline?
Well, I mean, now if you look at it like that, you could take because they never even give you.
I mean, you can be anything at that point,
name, right? I don't even remember hearing her name. Right. So, I mean,
dude, I think that's grossly irresponsible to project the change on that when you're not a core fan. You should have that. That's something you want. That's very important right there for the first inaugural film for Batman Beyond. You got to do that right, bro.
But hold on,
like, you can't. That's not the movie to experiment with that.
When you say they got to do that right, what do you mean? Explain that.
As far as the origin that you should launch that first. As far as the very first movie.
Okay,
now, so it's sort of like this. If they would have came out with the Shield show prior to what was the event? What was that called in Marvel?
The attack on New York.
No,
you're talking about
was when they changed. They matured the storyline. It was Jesus, I'm so sorry, man. Brain freeze. When they changed Nick Fury to Sam Jack's image. What was that? Those stories. Those were
that was the Ultimate Universe, right? You talking about
the Ultimate Universe, right? So what I'm saying is, prior to the Ultimate Universe, you wouldn't have started a Shield show and changed him black. I'm not saying that I like it, but what I'm saying is the inaugural, however it was developed at first, for the core fans that have been a fan from the very beginning. Don't play around with me like that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't cool.
Well, the only thing is,
that's how I would feel about it.
Oh, I know you would feel that way, but they don't. Hollywood doesn't care. They don't care about.
No. They
don't give a damn. Look what they do.
Nowadays, you have to.
Now
you have to care nowadays.
Well, yeah, but they still don't. Yeah. If they did, they would give us what we wanted, and we wanted certain things, and we don't get it. Right. All they care about is it's a multiverse. So your character that you want to have this, his origin stage comic book, well, that's on Earth 74. Right. We're on Earth 23 over here.
Right.
And that gives them the license to just screw up a character. Look at the new Batgirl movie. And everybody now is screaming, oh, we need to see this movie. Warner Brothers already digitally erased it.
I heard it was more like a TV show. Like
they said it was more like a CW show.
It was a CW show.
Listen. They filmed the movie into its entirety, took it to post-production, had trailers ready and everything. And when they watched the movie, they was like, "Yo, what is this?"
Oh, hell no!
And look, and for
But do you know how bad your movie has to be when you have spent at least $100 million? It's complete, bro. It ain't like it was halfway. It was
no,
ready.
but what I'm saying is, look, this is what they did. For them, it's a tax write-off.
Right.
It's better as long as this movie never comes to light of day. They can write that whole thing off at the end.
And
of the
again,
bro.
and again, any of us who saw the footage,
it ain't that much taxes in the world, dog. That's an L. Okay, they
no, bro. It's a tax write-off.
It's an L.
It's a tax write-off.
It's a hard L.
It's a hard L, but it's also a tax write-off.
It ain't nothing good that can come from that. You can
because
dude, you can try to
did any of you guys
taxes.
Did anybody see any of the footage?
You don't understand. The studio is
you know what they put online. I did see it.
It doesn't matter. You're sitting here trying to say, no, you still lost money. Bro, it's a tax write-off.
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
End of the day,
hold on a second, guys. All right. Some of it is a tax write-off. Like
all 15%,
of it is a tax write-off, bro. You know, none of that is a tax write-off. That's an L, dog. Listen, you took 85 million as a
apparently you're not hearing what I'm telling you.
Hold on, gentlemen. Hold on.
Guys, listen, I ain't trying to flex or nothing, but I worked in accounting and TV and film for like 8 years.
Bro,
I'm telling you,
now.
That's an L. You're not writing off that money, and you
let's just say it like this. Let's just say it like this. Rich people know how to stay rich.
Okay.
Now, whether or not it was a tax write-off or there was a loss that Warner Brothers took, it is what it is.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it is what it is.
That's why they have no problem doing
it. Again,
you know how many bad movies they put out and still lose money on?
And look, after the big sell-off of Warner Brothers to the Discovery, and seeing the little bit of footage that they did put out,
right,
that movie would have done horrible for the new Warner Brothers regime.
Yeah, but it was going straight to
going straight to HBO Max.
Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question.
It wasn't like it was going to ever be released.
Yeah,
but it looked like a bad CW show.
And that's what it was. It was a CW show.
It looked like a bad CW show. Which again,
it was just a long pilot. That was all it was.
Fellas, have y'all seen the numbers for opening weekend for Flash?
I've only seen Fridays. I've not seen Saturdays or Sundays yet.
Dog, they made $65 million this weekend, fam. Ain't no write-off in the world.
I understand why, because
this is a devastating blow, especially right after Black Adam. This is a devastating blow for Warner Brothers as far as the DCEU.
I don't think this was a devastating blow because, for one, like my daughter, she's a DC fan. She's like, I don't want to go see anything with Ezra Miller in it. Now, she's also a Harry Potter fan. She's like, I don't want nothing to do with Ezra Miller. And I told her, I'm like, Sierra, the movie was absolutely amazing. She's like, really, Dad? I was like, yeah. She's like, because you said so, I'm going to watch it. And I believe there are a lot of women out there, a lot of people.
Amazing?
No, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Have you even seen it yet?
I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Have you seen it?
It was amazing.
It's a very
I
good
saw
movie.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
amazing. Look, I will sit there and tell you all right now. Ezra Miller, who acted in two
we gonna have to
roles.
mute this one because this one, I tell you, boy, this Marvel fan he be killing me. He come in here with this crap all the time. This Marvel fan come in here with this crap all the time, man. He don't know no good film.
Listen. The movie that they sold. Listen, you know who deserves an Oscar for this movie? The person who edited the trailer. The person who edited the trailer made you believe that you were going to an Avengers Endgame Infinity War level event. And it was not that at all.
Rashad, you know what?
Yeah, you way off base, bro. I'm not way off base. I'm
trying to give you some props.
That's a Marvel fan right there, right?
Yeah, that's a Marvel fan. He, always try to throw up that damn Infinity.
They sold us. Hold on. No, I need the truth, man. When we talk about it, dog. Listen, they sold us Flashpoint. It was not Flashpoint. They tricked us, bro.
Rashad.
Where did you see the Amazons versus the Atlanteans?
Rashad.
So you're only
that's
talking
the
about
animated.
the animated one that
That's
you
the
saw.
animated. That's
You
not
only
the comic
saw
book.
one, and there we have it.
I
There we
want
have
the
it.
elements
Somebody
of
again who only
hold
was
on.
one part
That
of
was
Hold on,
something.
my brothers. Hold on. One at a
Come
time.
on, man.
That took
Hold
place
on.
in the comic book and in
Hold
the
on.
animated
Hold
movie.
on.
Come
Don't try to
on,
act like
man.
it didn't take place in both.
Rashad.
It took place in the
Rashad.
movie
Come on,
and in the
man.
comic book.
Rashad, hold on one
Okay.
second. Hold on. My brothers. Okay, one at a time so we can all hear. All right. Calibus, we're gonna go to you and then we're gonna come back to Rashad, okay?
Again, here we go with somebody who always takes one part of something and goes, "We need to see this."
Go.
Rashad, hold on, Rashad.
Can I claim my time?
I'm a mute.
Speaker.
Oh.
I like to claim my time.
Let's look. We are not on the floor of Parliament here, okay? or Congress.
Look, I'm saying, look. So the guy who tells you, the director tells you, "Hey, I didn't want to give you a blow by blow comic book version of this movie."
Right.
Now, as a fan, I'm in here. I'm only there for two reasons: Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I could give a damn about the Flash. Okay.
Right.
I want to see Keaton back on the big screen as Batman one last time. As much as you may hate Ezra Miller, his Barry Allen was on point.
Yeah.
The love relationship between him and his mother even made me go, damn, that's pretty deep. You know what I mean? I felt for this character. And I want grit, I want hardcore. I don't got time for this lovey-dovey stuff. But this guy made me feel for the character. I'm like, I'm good with it. The flashpoint that you get is a combination from Snyder's universe to this end. Now, I'm not even going to talk about what happened at the end when I got what I got.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Trash.
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, this is well done. The trash that I see now is this Invasion Secret War, anything after Infinity Gauntlet. That's the trash that I see.
Come on, let's keep it on topic. Topic.
So
no, he's keeping it 1,000.
Mr. Speaker.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Mr. Speaker.
I'm agreeing with you, dude.
Rashad, come. Hold on.
We get this, which is a combination of the end of the Snyderverse. Now, I don't know where Aquaman fit into it, but I got a feeling that I won't even be watching that. That's just my take on it. I'm kind of done until we get this rebooted universe started. Right. Now, I'm confident with the director we had that Batman Brave and the Bold will be good. Now, you Superman fans, I'm not too sure. I'm going to reserve judgment. But The Flash was a great ending for me to the Snyderverse.
Okay, Calibus, let's find out what Rashad, you got your chance to rebuttal.
Okay, so I think you hear the complaints of other fans when I'm giving my criticism, when I say it's a C+. I don't have any problem with Ezra Miller as far as him being casted, what he did. I don't care about none of that. I care about the movie and him as the Flash. Mm-hmm. My friend hates him as the Flash because they say he's goofy and he doesn't like the running mechanics. It doesn't bother me. So I don't have a problem with him, and he's cool. If he was the Flash or wasn't the Flash, it wouldn't really matter to me. So I'm not even having a problem with that. I do have a problem with that goddamn deep blue sea CGI that you had in that damn movie, like Matrix 3 when Supergirl was fighting. It looked just like the Agent and Neo fighting in the last Matrix movie. That was very bad. I have a problem with them babies' faces when they was falling out that building. They looked like cherubs or something. The CGI was questionable too much in this movie for the level that it was on.
But again, that CGI was due to the fact that he's in the Speed Force.
Calibus.
The only time I interrupted you was to tell you I agreed with you.
No, you didn't. You kept butting
Calibus.
No, I was saying I agree.
Rashad, go ahead.
You don't even understand the movie.
Rashad, let's stay on topic.
Okay. All right. the next thing is you showed me 80% of the movie in the trailer. I have a problem with that. That's the same problem that I had with the first Thor movie.
Try to narrow
the
this
first
down.
Thor movie, they herald the first Thor movie as being great, but it won't great if you show me the whole movie in the trailer. That lets me know you knew the movie won't good. You had to trick people to come into the theater.
Rashad, my question is, and we had somebody sit there and say that Zod CGI was kind of terrible, but my question is this: what was your problem with the Flash? Basically,
I thought I just laid it out.
No, I'm saying basically.
My problem, you know what the problem was with the Flash?
Yes.
I felt the same way that I felt when I watched Black Adam. I was like, yo, y'all had all of these elements here, and y'all didn't hit a home run. Y'all fell flat. You had Gal Gadot. You had images of Christopher Reeve. You had everything there. And you made me feel like this was a Flashpoint movie, but it wasn't. He wasn't Thomas Wayne Batman. Like, come on, man. Y'all acting like the cartoon and the comic book was so much different. They weren't.
Rashad, thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna end this real quick. I appreciate
I'm sorry if I spoiled it for anybody.
No.
Passionate. You know how me and Calibus go. You know, when we put the swords out, we gotta clear the room. You know. So
look, I appreciate your thoughts, and look, you are welcome to have your thoughts. But let's get back on topic here. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So we're gonna talk with again blackwashing versus whitewashing. I pose this question to everybody on the panel. All right. They're casting a new Batman movie. Okay. We're using Batman as an example. They're casting a new Batman movie.
Regular Batman?
Just Batman. Bruce Wayne Batman. Okay.
Are we sure it's gonna be Bruce Wayne Batman?
No. This is Bruce Wayne Batman.
Oh, for the discussion.
For this discussion. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like this is my question is like two parts. They're casting for Batman 1989. I'm sorry, they're casting for Bruce Wayne Batman.
Mm-hmm.
They put it out there to all the actors of Hollywood. The best actor comes in and just blows it away. And the director of the proposed director of this new movie is like, he's black. I know Bruce Wayne is white. Okay? But this guy just came in and blew me away, made me believe he is Batman.
No.
And he made me Bruce Wayne. He made me believe he could be Bruce Wayne.
No.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Should they make this movie? Because everybody else that they brought in could not blow them away like this. They could not make them believe. And you're talking about they threw it out there to everybody, right? And so my question is actually two parts. Should they cast this movie? And should they go on with it? My second question is, if the best actor is not the race of the character, should it matter?
Yeah.
Hold up. We're gonna start with Vincent.
All right, to your first question, because I did put it out there first. Like, could they even do that? I think, and for the first half, I'm gonna play devil's advocate with. It could, in some realm of possibility, it could be possible, right? Because anything is possible. It could be done. Now, whether or not people would like it is something totally different. That's a different conversation. But could it be done? Yes, right? Because he's just a man. If you take the elements that make Bruce Wayne, the wealth, the
That's
influence, the tragedy of his life, his intellect, martial prowess, all that stuff that could be applied to anybody, right? So for the sake of discussion, yes, it could be done. Would people like it? No, but that's not what you asked. I wouldn't like it. Would I go see the movie? I think so, because I'd be like, well, let me see what the hell they did with this, right?
Yes,
But
we will go, dog.
I'm far more forgiving than most people in general. So I would be interested to see how they pulled this off. Like, okay, someone had to sign the checks to make all this happen. So this brother had to have done a bang up job. The story, the writing, the music, everything, the supporting actors, everything else with the Batman mythos has to be on point for him to change from a white man to a black man. It sounds crazy to say that, but that's because of just what we are all have seen all of our lives. Anyone who's a fan of Batman,
80 years,
right.
You know,
how many years, Calibus?
Over 80 years.
Yeah, I think it's 85 years now.
Yeah.
Now, what was the second question?
The second question is, should it matter?
It should not matter, but
Yes.
again, I think it also depends on the character, right?
Okay.
Case in point, Black Panther, T'Challa. That could never. I don't see any way that could be done. You would have to change the entire story. You know,
well, you know what?
Well, he would have to change this to another
that
part
like
part
of that question when you bring in Black Panther and when you bring in characters like Storm, you bring in characters like Black Lightning, Static. That's a separate question, and we're going to come back to later. Okay.
Well, all the black people got electrical powers.
Well, no, it's not even. It's not only that. Look, Calibus said that. But
Come on, man. You know I'm gonna say it for real. I don't care.
Like I said, that's a separate question, and the reason I say that's a separate question and that's a separate entity is because
shit crazy, man.
Black is the element of who they are. You can't take that away from that character. Being black. Okay, so like Black Panther is the ruler of an African nation. You cannot take that black part of him and say cast a white person. Say let's cast Black Panther. He's just going to be a white actor. You can't because part of him.
You could change him to be an Indian king, couldn't you?
No, you cannot because he's not Black Panther any longer.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be.
You see what I'm saying? He could be Black African Jaguar and being black.
Black Jaguar. Black Jaguar is Black Panther. Never mind. Damn.
But look, like you could not cast a black person or a white person of somebody of the character of Mowgli from the Jungle Book. Indian is his heritage.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you can't take that. You can't. That, like I said, that's why I said that part, those characters, that's a whole separate discussion. But
that's why I brought it up because it's intrinsic to who that character originally was.
And see, Calibus and I have had this debate for going on a couple of years.
20 years?
No. The debate about like black, like I believe Batman, Bruce Wayne could be black. But his blackness changes some of his elements of his upbringing because he may be a privilege, but
I have an important question.
There's also part of he knows he's black because people are going to sit there and look at him differently.
So Bishop, let me ask, in the evolution of what we know as far as all the Batman that have taken place, where does this story fall? Have they already been created and we're doing a new one? Like, are you saying like in 2025? So everything before that has already existed, right?
In my hypothetical question, yes, there's the 85 years of history of black
okay,
Bruce
so that's
Wayne,
still
Bruce
there.
Wayne
So we're not saying the very first time we do Batman we're gonna change.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Then he absolutely
in this character, like I said, they do a casting call and all the actors come and show
that would
up.
Be cool. It's just like James Bond. It's just like the debate with James Bond right now. How they're saying that they need to do something fresh and new, and they've been wanting to cast Idris Elba, but they keep getting backlash from who knows who or whatever. But it's time. You know, you've had. It's no different than a black president. Like,
So you're okay with it? I mean, you're okay with it?
Yeah, with Batman, yes, but a character that never had a live action version. I want him to be portrayed as he was originally created first.
Okay, now hold on. Now,
Batman Beyond, I don't want them to change him black. No, I want. I watch the cartoon. I like Terry McGinnis. Let him do that. Like,
so we have your answer, Vincent. You answered. I want to get Mark and Calabas's answer.
All right, for me, he cannot be black. Bruce Wayne has to be white. Like you said, the privileges that he grew up with, that is a totally different character. A black Bruce Wayne just doesn't work, you know? You can do like we said, a black Batman works fine, but not a black Bruce Wayne. Because of the way the character was designed.
So his privilege and his upbringing is
it's a totally, I mean, because he's not going to, his parents being shot in an alley, that's not going to make him Batman.
Anybody. Look, that's any black person.
That's just I did in New York.
Because you know black people ain't going to take the back door and walk down crime alley.
None of that works.
You know what we should do?
He wouldn't have been in that situation to begin with, right?
We should leave early and walk down crime alley with our precious son that we hold the most precious dear in the world. We're going to take him down crime alley because, come on, dog.
Right, but
that would have made him
so
Batman.
Right, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because he would have never been Batman. He would have just been some guy.
Marky
oh my God, you know, this didn't
happen. We would have left. Now let me propose this: that same scenario, the black family would have walked out the front of the theater and got shot by a drive-by.
No.
Oh.
So then he would have. Okay, and that's
so either way, the parents is going to get shot.
Thing.
Yeah, but then he would have joined the gang instead of being in.
Yeah.
He's going to seek revenge on that gang.
Now that you done said that.
What I'm saying, the trauma is still the same.
The trauma and the drama is still the same. The story and the outcome comes out to still be the same.
Now you have to change
that would not have made him Batman.
Actually, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, anything that can be written well.
Written well, yes.
Exactly. And see, that's where we all come back as film fans or fans of fans of film, fans of comic books or whatever. Yes. If it's written right and written well.
You know what? Now that you say that, right? So he gets, and let me just pose this because now you got my writer's cap on, right?
Yeah, you're getting hyped now.
He comes out the theater because like Rashad said, we're not going out the back. We know that. No.
So crime alley.
They get the hit, right?
Right.
So it became crime alley.
Well, he wouldn't have been down there watching the movie to begin with, right?
Drive by. Bruce is saved by his parents, covering him or whatever. They die. So now he hears the cops talking. It was a so-and-so 808 gang on whatever.
Right.
He goes there. He gets his ass handed to him. Now he wants to train.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I said,
so I can see that
if it's written well. Okay.
But again, I'm with Marky Mark. It wouldn't be on Prime Earth. We know it would be Earth 77 over here.
That don't matter. That's why the multiverse
doesn't matter
anyway. So you can explore characters differently. I'm
for putting it on the multiverse, but don't tell me that you're going to make Bruce Wayne black, put him in the Prime universe, like you said, and say this is where we're starting with a black Batman. Bruce Wayne as black. I'm not going.
If it takes off, Miles came to the Earth 616 with regular Peter Parker. That's where he is now.
Okay, listen, but they want to try to make Miles Morales a bisexual, so I'm not really with that either. They can't even leave him alone. So what's the sense of now they're going to try to say that Batman and Robin are homosexuals?
No comment.
So Caliber.
All right.
Let's not go there, right?
Caliber. Hey, when I'm quiet, you I ain't got nothing to say about it.
Calibus, I got since we agree upon like what you were just saying, you can see it if it's written like that, you can understand it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I just sent you something in the link. Could you play that?
A YouTube link.
Yes.
Hold on here.
And I have a reason for playing this.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this up here now. Let me see. I don't know. I hope
They're not gonna
because
flag
we
it,
on
probably.
YouTube. They might flag it. It's a long one, bro.
Look, I don't. No, it's only a few minutes long.
Listen, while y'all waiting for this to load up, the bottom line is, The Flash was a good movie, man. It was a little bit better than good, but it fell short of the greatness that I expected. But go ahead, we'll get back another time.
Yeah, go ahead and play. Go ahead and play this for us. Skip past this until you get to the.
You're in charge of what?
Of distracting the guards so that we can sneak someone into the Capitol.
Cassidy, I can't believe you're involved in this thing. The whole thing is ridiculous.
I guess that means you're not going to wish me luck.
And you're telling me that virtually my entire senior staff is a part of this nonsense.
You're supposed to help your friends when they're in trouble, and Vic, hologram or not, is in trouble. Not that I expect you to care.
Look, this is not about Vic Fontaine.
And what is your problem?
You want to know? You really want to know?
Listen to what he says right here.
I'll tell you. Las Vegas, 1962. That's my problem. In 1962, black people weren't very welcome there. Oh, sure, they could be performers or janitors, but customers never.
Maybe that's the way it was in the real Vegas, but that is not the way it is at Vic's. I have never felt uncomfortable there, and neither has Jake.
Don't you see? That's the lie. In 1962, the civil rights movement was still in its infancy. It wasn't an easy time for our people, and I'm not going to pretend that it was.
Baby, I know that Vic's isn't a totally accurate representation of the way things were, but it isn't meant to be. It shows us the way things could have been.
Okay, so
I pose this to the gentleman on our panel. When they cast people of color in roles, like we've all, I'm sure we've all seen the videos, like when Little Mermaid. We all know Little Mermaid is a Caucasian girl with red hair. That's the animated story that Disney put out. We all sat there and we've seen. Then we have Halle Bailey, a sister, portrays the same girl and absolutely nails it. Okay.
And it's still doing well in theaters, by the way.
And people are complaining because she, Little Mermaid is black.
Yeah.
So you have two questions here. Are we, should we accept things the way they have been, or should we accept things the way they could be? Because we all know, especially, for any of us who are fans of comics, the number of black characters in comics is like this, as opposed to white characters. Primarily, look, I'm a DC fan. I'm a diehard Superman fan. Just about every single character with the Justice League is white.
Are you forgetting about Apache Chief, El Dorado?
But again,
the fans that they made up for the show. So
I'm just saying.
Quasimodo
messed up. They made me think that was cool, dog. They made me think I could go up to Indian people and say inept chalk.
And look,
beat the hell out you, man, for doing that, man.
As a child of the 70s, I tuned in every weekend to
every
watch
Saturday.
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Apache Chief, what's his name? Tornado. Yeah.
You don't know his name.
But anyway, Firestorm, Robin, Wendy and Marvin and Gleek. We sat there and watched,
Wonder Twins,
watched,
man.
to watch the Justice League. And the only black character in all of those, probably about 20 characters, is Black Vulcan. But yet,
Actually, they did. I think
Who
they
was
had
not even a real
they had
character.
Cyborg up there a few times as well towards the end before it was canceled.
right,
Who?
right. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
as a kid, my hero was Superman, not Black Vulcan.
yeah.
Mine was
Superman.
Batman, not Black
Mine was
Vulcan.
So,
Superman.
and again, like I bring it back to you.
I didn't
Should
claim a hero
we
until Wolverine.
should we hold on
That
to
was my dog.
what we know, which is white, or what could be?
You know,
Okay,
We
And I
can't. We can't change.
and look, I'm gonna start with Marky Mark.
All right, dog ready to go.
Okay, so you know, like you, I grew up in the '70s, so the same thing. I was a big Superman fan. I still am a huge Superman fan. Um, I don't, some things I'm not big on change. I like the status quo because this is what I grew up on, so that's what I'm used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with some of the changes that I've seen. Like I said, the Flash worked. What we discussed earlier, that those changes worked for me. Um, Iris West, her character works for me with the changes. Um, so that's fine. Um, Even like some of the other stuff I've seen, I'm okay with it changing. Like everybody said before, you can't change Black Panther. Um, so I guess I'm just gonna say I'm okay with it. I'm used to the status quo. If it's done well, I can deal with the change. I have no problems with it, as long as it's written well. But sometimes you got to see what they did before they make that change. That's how I'll go with that.
Okay. Let's go with Vincent.
all right. So I think that it's important to know where it, if you understand and have a respect for the source material. If
Mm-hmm.
I think there's nothing wrong with holding on to, like, I grew up in the 90s, so there were not as many, but there were starting to be more Black characters and this, that, and the other. So I was a bit more exposed to the idea of it. But again, like a lot of my favorite characters, they were white. Captain America, um, Iron Man, things like that. Superman, of course. Um, I don't think though that everything has to stay with the status quo. Again, like we've all said, if it makes sense, I think it's a lot easier though to do in print media via uh, uh, video and movies and TV and things like that, because it brings a whole nother element, like an unspoken element, because now we see a person, we know that this is a live person. And so we're trying to, people start to make connections or not make connections, and don't either like or don't like what's being shown to them and displayed to them. And I think it goes through some kind of barrier filter. I don't know what that is, but if we took the concepts we were talking about, like, well, like Black Bruce Wayne, it's a multiverse. Okay, boom. People who are familiar with that concept, but movies, not that you're talking to a whole different audience out there, and people
Right.
know Batman, and they know Batman is white. So you know, uh, I I personally, am fine with the idea and concept of it. Some characters, you know, I don't think, like, let's say if we took Steve Rogers, from my perspective, I think he, in every universe, he's white. I don't know. I couldn't write that as a black character, or come up with an ideas. And especially when you start looking at like the history and the era that he came from,
Mhm.
I don't see any situation or scenario where that works. And then canonically, the one, first Captain America that they had was black, that no one knew about,
Right.
and everything. So and that came with reason because of the era. It was a test. Okay, we're gonna just quietly put him aside. Even take a character like Adam Brashear, you know, and he was around, but they asked him to go away, you know, because we can't have a black man as powerful as you. We appreciate all you've done, you know. It's a little tangent, but I think it can be done. I personally don't have a problem with it. I like Rashad, like was you were saying about, you know, what the character started off as, and we first see them, you know, in the other media. I think you should stick to what everyone is familiar with. You just gotta.
So
If
let me
people are
pause.
passionate about it, involved,
So let
it
me
could go
pause you
well.
right there. Let me pause you right there. If we stick with the characters in the way that we know them always to be, for those characters that nobody knows, people will never know.
How would they evolve?
Yeah, like let's just sit there and talk. Let's just for a brief moment, not to get too political. I don't know about the
Hold on,
rest
man.
of you
Don't
guys.
change the question
And
before I get to go, man.
no. We're gonna come back to the question. But what I'm saying,
All right, man.
we you know, Calibus and I and Mark are probably about the same age. Every February when Black History Month came around, it was always the same: Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Malcolm X, Malcolm X,
Don't forget
and
Nat Turner.
Nat Turner, and probably a handful of other people. That's all we ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I remember going up to my father, who was a chief of the Navy, and one of the only handful of black chiefs in the military at that time in the 70s, and asking my dad, when watching Westerns on Saturday right before Kung Fu Theater, Dad, where are the black people? Because my heroes were John Wayne, Roy Rogers, Superman, Captain America, Captain Kirk. All of them are white. Who am I? I'm a black man. And all my Calibus, I can't hear you.
Did you want me to start playing that Public Enemy?
Oh, well, look, burn, Hollywood, burn. But no, I'm just saying, if we, and look, my father was a hard man, you know, and we here on Father's Day, and I'd sit there and I'd ask my father a question about where were we represented in history, because again, when I'd go to class, we would hear the same several people. And my dad would sit there and look at me. He's like, Junior, there's a whole book right there of everything black people have accomplished from the last several hundred years. If you want to know what our accomplishments are, pick up that book, because we're all throughout history. And again, I'm a fan. And look, we're all fans of what we know. But like that clip, you know, from Deep Space Nine, what about how it could have been or how it could be? Because when the Little Mermaid trailer came out, I was like, Little Mermaid, she can't be black. Blah, 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 blah. And then I sat there and I saw the clips of the little black girls who sat there and watched the same exact trailer that I sat there and I watched. And they were like, she looks like me. And I almost cried.
Okay, but in the interest of stirring the pot,
yeah.
You know, it didn't really care for me. I'm not interested.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean? I didn't care whether she was white, blue, green, whatever.
Right. So
it only bothered me when
Look,
people
look, look,
kept
look.
saying she can't be,
Right.
that's when I got offended. She can't
Listen,
be.
they're
And
all
I'm like,
hypocrites
why?
because they're all hypocrites because in the first movie, her sisters were an array of different
Array of
colors and
colors.
different races.
Right. Right.
They were different
Yeah.
colors anyway. That's why I don't
Yeah.
even pay them no attention when they be complaining about that movie because she had an Asian sister, a black person. It was multicolored people already in there. So
Right.
it was cool when the leader was white. But now
Right.
when the mantle of leadership is passed to somebody of color, all of a sudden it's gonna be whack. All of a sudden we writing Rotten Tomatoes reviews before the movie came out. We ain't even seen it to affect the score. Or it's gonna
Right.
bomb, it's gonna tank. No, it came out and it was one of the highest grossing Disney movies of all time. And it's still running
Live
now,
action. Yes,
even
sir.
though
Live action.
even though
Sure is.
Spider-Verse has hit like a meteorite and is destroying the theater on an Avatar pace, that movie's still doing well.
Right.
There are other movies that are coming out that are not doing well at all because those two movies right there are demanding and commanding fans to pay attention to the truth. I'm a 80s baby. I grew up in the era where it transitioned from rock'em sock'em robots and ball and jacks to toys that were strictly warfare. Okay,
Right.
we jumped right
Yeah.
into conflict toys. The highest grossing toys of the 80s were all toys that were surrounding warfare because of the Cold War and the climate. It was more acceptable, but it got
True.
so outlandish to a point where parental organizations had to be formed. And I'm the generation where they had to make parental advisory stickers. So
Yeah. That's true.
my approach to something is totally different. I don't care what color, gender the person is. I need it to be raw. And when I say raw, I'm talking about the first Rambo, First Blood raw. The first time you seen Ninja Scroll. I'm talking about Robotech raw. That's what I need. Now,
Ninja
Conan.
Scroll.
Yeah.
All
my
right, go ahead,
Oh,
preach. Go
Conan,
ahead.
there you
Go
go.
ahead.
There you go. Yeah, you know what
yeah.
I'm talking about. I just need us to, I'm trying to communicate so y'all can, when I say raw, I need y'all to understand what my definition
Right.
is. All right.
Okay.
So don't get me wrong, the blackness in me, I know when there's an injustice and I want to see certain characters and all of that, and that's cool. I could tell you one totally thing, and I don't want to see a black Superman. But if you make it raw, I'm in line going to see Black Superman 4 or 5 times.
Okay. So Calibus, let's
So
get
at
your
the same,
words. Go on. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, Rashad. Finish
Yeah,
your finish
I'm
your
just
thoughts.
saying that at the same time, don't get me wrong, my blackness is in the forefront. As a fan, I know what's best and I know what I would like to have to inspire my own people and my own imaginations. You know, I want to see how black people would respond to a conflict aboard a space station with an alien running around. You know, I don't get me
Right.
wrong, I don't, I ain't never been a fan of the black planet theory, you know, where everything is black.
Hmm.
That's not real life. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Now,
Right.
if the shoe was on the other foot, we have been the colonizers, and they would have been the slaves probably because the human animal is the same, dog. We try
Did
to
you
make it different through the
not
way
not
we
to change the
talk, the way we
subject?
dress,
Not to
but
change the subject. Did you have you ever seen that movie with Harry Belafonte about where everybody is black
yep, I seen that.
and the
John,
people who were poor were white, and I sat and I watched that movie and I was like, oh my god.
That's the
yeah,
one that had
we
John
was,
Travolta in it as well, right?
I
'Cause
I don't know.
it was his family that killed or something like that. He was going to jail
yep,
for.
It
Yeah,
it
I
yep,
saw
it,
and he
it
decided.
might
Listen,
have
man,
been.
listen, man. There are. I hate to talk like this because it's a borderline Illuminati talk, but we know it to be fact because we all of our a certain age. But there's profit in keeping us divided.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
Right.
certain amount
definitely.
of control that
Yes.
by keeping us divided benefits whoever. And I'm not gonna get into all of that because it sounds crazy. You don't have facts, but we know it to be true.
Right.
But all I'm saying is, as a fan of what I love and I grew up with, you're wasting a lot of time debating to me who's gonna be black, who's gonna be a male, who's gonna be a woman. And on top of that, that the male chauvinistic attitude is why it's being forced now. Because a lot of things have been exposed in Hollywood. So now they're forcing it and we complaining about it, but it has to happen, dude. We have to cross certain milestones and certain hurdles for things to be produced correctly so that we can get to a point where they're going to have a vixen created movie or TV series by an all black cast or director or whatever the case may be. But now it has to be forced, and unfortunately, some of the properties that we truly love that we grew up with, we're suffering from it because it's not raw. It's staged. It's forced.
Yeah.
You know. But
Right.
then sometimes they are hitting a home run too. So
Yeah.
we have to let this. We have to purge. It has to be purged from Hollywood, and it may take 10 years. It could take 20. Who knows? For us to actually receive another genuine Sigourney Weaver or a genuine Linda Hamilton in the leadership role, and it not be phony or fake. You know, if I'm making sense, you know. So
Okay.
I need it
So
to be raw, man. If it's raw first, I'm open to anything. Make the Superman Asian, dude. I don't care, man. As long as he's really getting busy out there, I need him fighting Brainiac though. Let me get something new. You know, like I
They
can do
have an
Batman
Asian
in New York.
Superman. They have an Asian Superman.
well, Calibus,
I
let's
know.
get your
I mean,
thoughts on this. I want to hear what you have to say.
You know, what could be and all that. I don't want to, you know, I make my own heroes, you know, not to plug my book, but I make my own heroes. I don't, and my villains are usually British. So, I personally think I get tired of hearing this multiverse thing. Can you just give me one era of this is what else? And then if you want to make something over here and call it Elseworlds or whatever, go ahead and do that. But like Rashad said, if you're gonna reboot this from a starting point where none of this matters anymore, I need the characters to be who they are,
Right.
and bring them forward. I've had
Right.
85 years of Batman being Bruce Wayne and white. He needs to stay that way. Now,
Right.
if you want to make this black Bruce Wayne over here in Elseworlds, like they're doing this Joker movie, by all means. But again, like Rashad said, that needs to be, especially a black Batman, that needs to be grit.
Yeah.
That needs to be in your face. You know,
the creators have to have been living a real black experience, and not only I'm not talking about poverty. I'm talking about the black experience of that level of wealth from the Wayne family.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we can always assume, we're gonna have instincts as an African people. I don't know if his father came up from the gutter and amassed his empire, or the grandfather did, but that type of wealth, that was a generational thing that was handed down. So who's to say that the father came out of the projects? He could have been rich his whole life. They may have really went out the back of crime.
Right.
9 times out of 10, I don't think so, because you plug in the real black people problems. At least you may not have grown up in the project, but you know some black people well enough to know that don't walk down crime alley, dog.
Right.
After the show,
and, you know, like, with that being said,
somebody gonna tap you. Somebody gonna tap you. Say, "Yo, man, look, I know, you driving Bentleys and private jets, but look,
don't go down there.
Don't go down crime alley, dog."
And like you had said there, like you said, there's many different ways you could tell that story and still be black. Like you said, there could have been like they were trying to go out the back door. There was a black security guard. No, man, I ain't gonna let you go out this way. No, come on. Let me take you out front. Hey, Tyrone, James, come on. We gonna get Mr. Wayne to the front door.
Here's the problem, though. When you have these writers in Hollywood, it's like this. Well, I'm white, but I know this black couple that live down the street from me,
right.
And that's their black experience,
right?
And
but we are living in a future. But we're living in a future where now there is thinking behind it, and they're hiring people of color to do that. So now is this time that we're living in now.
All I'm saying is, I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
I was gonna say, writing. You got writers that don't know the story to begin with, so
that's the problem.
That's the main problem. Yeah, because I'm gonna write this story. I've heard about it. I think I can write a great story.
That, like I said, so that brings me back, kind of like full circle back to. It sounds like all of you guys are saying, if it's written right, if ethnicity or the heritage is not black, you guys all agree that it could be done correctly. If it's done
I'm gonna
correctly,
use.
you guys will all would be on board with it.
Let me use the most extreme example to let you know my mind state. You can change Black Panther's origin to London. If it's raw, I'm with it. I'm gonna
So
talk
look,
trash
you,
all the
you
way
want
to
to
the
see
theater.
bodies falling.
I need to see Robotech level of destruction. You got to understand, dude. Okay, listen. I grew up just like everybody else, no different, right? But remember, I grew up in the 80s, right? So, you know, I was over at my grandparents' house a lot on the weekend. And my grandfather let me watch Westerns. He let me watch, you know, Terminator. He let me watch Rambo. You know, he let me watch a lot of things that were not age appropriate. And I matured as far as entertainment a lot faster than kids my age because their parents would not let them watch certain things. So I always thought it was weird when I went to school and I'm talking about these shows and these movies and they were like, your parents let you watch that? And then I started getting quiet, like, oh,
So
you know, because they talking about Gremlins. They talking about Gremlins like Gremlins is great. And I'm looking at y'all like, man, this shit ain't hard. Like, y'all ain't seen Rambo? Do you know what this dude did? He jumped off a cliff, dude, into some trees.
This question to you gentlemen.
Gremlins?
I pose this question to you gentlemen. Have you guys seen Gods of Egypt?
Oh God, come on, man. Why are you playing games with us right now, dude? Come on, Bishop. What you doing right now, man? Hold on, man. Like, I thought we was having fun. Now you gonna make me go.
Look,
Now you gonna make me go.
hold on. Why did you
Bishop,
all?
this is
Why
our
did
first
you
time
all
meeting,
get?
man. He did this on purpose just then.
Why?
Yeah, that movie sucked.
Why did you all?
Come on,
why
dog.
did you all get so irritated for
You know why?
No, I know
That's
why.
an example of it
I
done
know why.
poorly.
I know why.
Them people was playing with us. They showed you. Now think about what they did when you first saw the title screen. They put the characters up there with the words so you could see they weren't black, man. Do you remember that, Marky Mark? Don't you remember that? They put the title on the. They put the title on the screen, and then they had 3 white boys up there called Gods of Egypt.
Hold on.
I think I watched it on TV. I didn't even go to the movies. They wouldn't get my money on that one. And then watching it, I had a hard time getting through the whole thing because it was so bad.
So hold on, real quick. Vincent, do you know what we're talking about?
Yes, I have seen the movie. I was like,
I want to hear Vincent's thoughts on this.
So I'm a sucker for a trailer. So I was like, that looks like, kind of exciting and everything. Oh, okay. I don't think I went to the theaters. I saw it when it came out, digitally or whatever later. And I was just like, man, that was bad. That was really bad. And I was like, okay, someone had the idea. Ooh, concept. Let's do a movie about, the gods of Egypt. Let's bring them into the real world and do all this, that, and the other. They got transforming armor. And it was like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, okay. Next step, let's start the casting. And they had I don't know if it was agenda, objective, or whoever was in mind, but it was just like, okay, we're not going to cast anyone in this that makes sense. Let's just troll everyone super hard. It had to be a troll.
No. This is what they did, Vincent. Let the best actors in the room get the role. We don't care if they're black or Egyptian or Palestinian. We're going to be fair now. Take it off you, Calvin. I want to hear what you. I want to hear you.
You know what the director said? You know what the director said? He said that he couldn't cast people of color like that because no one would go to the box office to see his movie.
Listen,
nobody went to the box office.
Calibus, let me put y'all on. The director has a certain amount of power, but he could never override the producers and the studio. So he was supported. He's taking the brunt of the heat, but trust me, they had his back.
I'm not saying that it was right.
Like and
then you give a there's only few directors that have final cut. There's only few directors that have final cut.
He is not one of them. So he's making it appear like he did it, but he was told to do it, or either they were all on board to do it.
Right.
So it won't. Come on, man.
And the sad thing was the movie was pretty good.
Well, Look, I mean,
The
that's
movie
that's,
was
that's
pretty
your
good.
opinion
It
on it.
wasn't
Listen, man,
horrible.
listen.
It wasn't
In every
horrible. Like I
It
said,
was-
look,
but
it wasn't Dragon
Yeah.
Ball
Listen,
Evolution's
listen.
Oh,
level of
Dragon
horrible,
Ball
The
Evolution.
movie,
Yeah.
right?
the movie was dumpster juice. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's just like the G.I. Joe movie, and I used it as an example before. Vincent, you weren't here. You cannot strip everything that I love out of G.I. Joe and call it G.I. Joe.
Right.
You can't call something the gods of Egypt and you don't have any people
Not
of
one
color
Persian person or Indian
at
person
all.
or
Yeah, I ain't even saying African people,
right,
Libya, Persia,
right.
whatever.
Anybody of
Right then and
From that
ethnicity that's other
region.
than who's
Vincent,
got some
Vincent, let me put
coloring.
you right then and there when they put the title screen up and they show you the actors standing dominant over the word Egypt, you know it's trash, dog.
And look,
It has to be.
Calabas and I have talked about this over the years, and I told him because I went to the
That was
theaters to watch
crazy.
this movie.
You
I went
did?
to the theaters. I went to the theaters to watch this movie, and I was
They
like,
got you, dog.
I could have solved this movie's problem in less than 5 minutes. And I told Calabas all they had to do was you sit there and you see the gods of Egypt or the gods go to Africa, and you sit there and you see them as black people, and they're talking to the Africans. You sit there and see them go to Greek, and you sit there and see them, polymorph and change into what the Greek people look like. You sit there and see them go to Asia, and they change into, what the people, whatever nationality that they are talking to or passing judgment on or whatever, they look like them. And then when they're back on Olympus or wherever, they look like Gerard Butler, whoever
Kingslayer. From
the
Game of
Kingslayer,
Thrones. What was his name? Jamie. What was his real
Jamie.
name? I
Yeah,
can't
well,
remember.
yeah, they could have looked like whatever they look like for that. For that, but when they go to the people, you sit there and see that they changed. And
They
I'm
changed
just
the
like,
animals, right? They changed
huh?
to the animal god forms or something like
Whatever.
that.
You,
Man,
you,
listen, man. I
you
never
guys
watched
do
that movie.
realize
But they,
that
but they,
Chadwick Boseman was in that movie, right? So
Chadwick
you have
Boseman was the only black person in the movie,
Wait,
and
wait,
he
wait,
was the
wait,
king
wait.
of, and he was the king of knowledge or intelligence or something like
You
No,
that.
meant to
yeah.
say that Chadwick was in it for real?
Yes,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
he is.
Vincent,
He's
don't
the
let
only.
that tempt you, dog. Don't fall for it.
I
That's
don't
a
know.
He's the
Jamaican
only.
trick
I
right
don't
there.
He's the
remember
only
that.
black person in the movie.
Dog. Don't do that. Come on, man. Stop dropping
I
them
don't know.
jewels so you can bait
I
him to
can't.
waste his
No,
life,
man.
2 hours of his life to watch
But
that.
like I said, though, they could have. Look, I could have fixed that movie in 5 minutes, and
That movie
I would have,
supposed to
and
die.
people, and I believe if there would not have been such a big controversy, if they would have fixed that, and if they would have came at the movie from that perspective, that when the gods are talking to whoever they're talking to, they look like them, but behind closed doors, they look like white people, or what we appear as
Bishop,
white people.
if you're going to gods of Egypt and you weren't going to use any ethnic people, and it was a conscious decision to do that, you should have just used them in their animal forms the entire time, just like Moon Knight.
Correct.
Don't play games with me, man, because you figuring that it's going to trigger people of color to go see it. No, we tired of being insulted in Hollywood. We went through that all through the era where television was black and white.
Right.
Like
So
we don't play games with me like that. I grew up with my elders who schooled me to TV and film.
I posed this question to my brothers here. Have any of you all seen the movie Spawn?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
the live action.
Yes, the live action movie Spawn. And if you know anything about the character, Spawn is the name. Spawn goes by the name of Al Simmons. His best friend is Terry Fitzgerald. They're both black. They're both in special ops. And in the 1992 movie, or whatever year it was the movie came out,
they changed them white.
They cast D.B. Sweeney as Terry Fitzgerald, and he's white. I was hot. I was like, Terry Fitzgerald's got to be black.
And that's one of the reasons the movie sucked, Bishop.
And look, I'm
sitting there. 1997.
Look, I'm a hardcore Spawn fan. I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm ready to pull my hair out. I'm like, Terry Fitzgerald is black. Terry Fitzgerald is black. Terry Fitzgerald is black. Now, look, I don't look. Terry Fitzgerald is black. And I watched the movie, and I'm just like, and then the whole tone, the music score of the movie is all this acid rock and satanic, Marilyn Manson, and I'm like, Spawn is a black man.
There
Why
should have
is
been
there
more
no?
rap.
Why is there no Isaac Hayes, Marvin
Yeah.
Gaye,
Because
Sly and
Marky
the
Mark,
Family Stone?
let me amend what you said, Marky Mark. It needed to have soul.
Correct.
And
Yeah, I
and
would say
again,
that.
they
It
Yeah.
needed to
cast
have soul.
Michael
There
Jai
needed to
White
be.
as
It needed to have
Spawn.
culture. It needed
Yeah.
to have cultural elements in there to
Correct.
make it have
And it should have been
soul and to
something
make
of the time. It needed to be music for that
right.
generation.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
that was a problem with that. I like Michael Jai White
Well,
in the character of Spawn, but it needed to be more, as Rashad keeps saying, it needed to be gritty. It needed to be
It
raw.
needed to be, yes,
And it
definitely.
was
no,
not raw.
dude.
It was nowhere near that.
No,
It was a watered down version of what this character should have been, you know?
correct.
And I
but
didn't
not
even
the
like the
HBO
clown. I
show.
hated the clown.
But dude, you got
Yeah.
to
hold on.
understand at that time, Todd McFarlane had champagne takes and beer money, fam. You got to realize it was
Right.
Michael Jai White and John Leguizamo. I mean,
Yeah.
it was an effort,
Yeah.
but he knows what not to do going forward. But he wasn't going to win with that right there, man.
Yeah.
They did put at least at that time the CGI was decent for the time that the film
Right.
was made. So, that really wasn't the problem. The problem were the things you're highlighting now. You're changing characters. There's no culture or
Storyline
soul
was bad.
associated with him being the character. And the overall quality of the film suffered for that.
Yeah.
So
Now let me comment this though. See, I saw Spawn. I don't think I saw it when it came out. I'm not sure my parents would have let me saw that because I was what, maybe
when you're older.
97. I was like what, 15, 16, something like that, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
So I remember seeing it some year or maybe a year or so after it came out. I was like, oh man, that movie was cool. That was amazing. I had never read any of the Spawn comics. I was familiar with Spawn, just Spawn, right? Just Al Simmons. And what you was talking about his best friend Terry, that's new information to me. I didn't know he was black in the comics, and then they
Yes.
made him white in the movie, right? So hearing that now, I'm like, yeah, okay, that is problematic. I can see a lot of people having issue with
His
that,
whole support group
right?
was African American.
Yes. It actually
But
was.
but also like, so I have a different perspective on it just because I was like, oh man, okay, here's this black character. He's like, Hellspawn, he's dark, and it's like, oh wow, it's pretty intense. I think I like that. And
Yeah.
so like if they remade that today, one, that movie would be sick. With the movie magic they can do nowadays. Two, I don't think they would ever be able to race change Spawn, but in terms of like supporting characters, I mean, I think there might be a bit of flexibility there just because of everyone maybe be more connected to Spawn than they're connected to, and I don't know how much, Fitzgerald and other people were, other than his wife, were involved in the overall mythos of Spawn, who he is, what he's about, why he
Actually,
does the things he
actually,
does.
it's actually Spawn, Cyan, Wanda, and Terry Fitzgerald. All of them are black. The only person
So
the only person who was white was Jason. Oh, actually, yes, Jason Wynn and
Sam and the other dude, Sam and
well,
Twitch.
Sam and Twitch are two cops, or
Yeah.
two New York cops are white, and the devil or Mambosia, he look, he doesn't have a race, but even Chapel, who's from Youngblood, Chapel is black. So everyone around Spawn, he's the special ops. He was like the leader of the special ops team who did super covert ops missions for Jason Wynn, who was a white guy. But everyone else around him is black, except for, like I said, Malboja, Jason Wynn, and Cagliostro, the prophet that's in the alleys of New York. Everybody else is, and I'm sorry, and Sam and Twitch. Everybody else is black, pretty much. So when I'm sitting there and go ahead. I'm sorry.
I
I
feel
thought
like
you were saying
this,
something.
and I don't know if we recall the conversation about GI Joe. Like Larry Hama originally wrote GI Joe, and if you recall, it's one of the earliest toy lines that had made a conscious effort to champion diversity. They had
Mm-hmm.
strong female characters in leadership positions. They had people of color that were in skilled positions and had leadership positions. It was not perfect by any means, though. Like,
Right.
and what I'm saying is, by that, they'll have a black character named Big Lob that was mimicking basketball with an afro.
Right.
And the sense that you have because of being an oppressed people, you find fault in things like that, in which you should speak up, right? But I don't want to lose sight of, you know what, man, the guy was trying. Did he do it exactly the way I wanted it done, or Asian person wanted it done, or Indian person as far as the representation? Did he do it correctly? No. But I think he was trying. And that's how I look at Todd McFarlane with Spawn. I don't
Oh
think
no,
Todd McFarlane
because
even
if
I don't think he factored or thought about
oh
cultural
no no
things
no
that
no, I
matter
think
because it probably doesn't
he
matter to him. He
he
probably doesn't.
actually said that he gave away too much rights for the movie of Spawn because like I said, the character Terry Fitzgerald. When Todd McFarlane was in college, his best friend and roommate was Terry Fitzgerald, a
Yeah,
black man.
yeah,
That's why he put him in the story. You know what I'm saying? And he, like, Todd McFarlane actually drew Spider-Man of the 80s, and
Yeah.
90s,
'80s and
the
Incredible
most
Hulk.
profitable time of Spider-Man in his history.
Uh, he
Well,
saved
what?
Spider-Man as the character because it was circling the drain when he jumped in.
Well,
Yeah, I'm just
at the
remembering it in real
time,
time. At the time, Spider-Man was
one of the
not
most profitable times for Spider-Man was when
was
Todd
Todd
McFarlane
McFarlane
was
running. That's
drawing
right.
him.
That's right.
And I say this that when Todd McFarlane, he wanted to see somebody else than just a white guy being a hero.
Yeah.
And here a white man creates a guy, a special ops guy who makes a deal with the devil that all he wants to do is see his wife again one time, goes to hell. The devil twists his words and brings him back as his hellspawn. And I'll never forget this. I was like 18 years old, and I'm dropping my friend Kenny off at this. He wants to go to this comic book store because a special comic book is coming out that day. My first time ever going into a comic book store. I'm 18, and there's a line of people outside. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Oh, Young Blood #1 comes out today. And I'm like, who? Young Blood? What the heck is Young Blood? And they talk, and the guy at the comic book store tells me they're the special ops groups of metahumans are going to, go after, they're going after Saddam. And this is right after Desert Storm and Desert Shield. Okay. And my dad has gotten deployed to Desert Storm and Desert Shield. So I'm like, what? This is right up my alley.
Yeah.
What's going on with the
I gotta read
military?
that.
Military and comic books and real life? I pick up the first issue of Youngblood #1, and I'm like, I'm buying this. And they're like, oh well, Spawn also came out today. I'm like, who is
That was
Spawn?
Rob Liefeld. That was Rob Liefeld's
Well,
book,
that
right?
was Rob Liefeld who did Youngblood. Todd McFarlane did
Yeah.
Spawn. And I'm like, oh, Spawn is about this guy who goes to hell, and he's coming back. A special guy who goes to hell and he's coming back and he's getting revenge. And I'm like, what? And I go over to the shelf and I pick up the comic book, and I'm used to newspaper print, that looks like a newspaper, honestly. This is white,
Mhm.
crispy pages, bright colors coming out of off the pages. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I ain't never seen a comic book like this. Oh, it's $2.95. I'm like, I'm used to 75-cent comics. You know what I'm saying? Calibus, I know you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about. 75-cent
It
comics.
it, it
And
changed
like,
it
Look,
changed
when I was
it
buying
changed the
comics, they
game.
were 35 cents. So that tells you
oh,
how old I am.
so this
They were
is
35
like
cents.
$3 for one comic book. And I'm like,
You
hold
opened
on.
it though, you realized, yeah,
And
when
I'm
you
like, look,
opened it,
I
you knew what
looked at,
time it
like I
was.
said, I opened it up and I'm looking at the pages and I'm just, oh my God, this is so bright, so crisp. This is new. I gotta have
Yeah,
it. It's like it's calling out to me. I get home and
yeah.
I
You
read
know what that's
Youngblood.
called? That's called raw.
Yeah, I read Youngblood and I'm like, oh my God, the writer Rob Liefeld. I'm in. He pulled me into this world of Youngblood. But then I picked up Spawn, the hero's black, and I'm like, oh, you got me right there. And I am so sucked into this world of supernatural and military. I've always been pulled into the world of military because my dad was military. I grew up military. But supernatural, this is kind of like sci-fi, sci fantasy. And then you're talking about the devil. I grew up Christian, and this guy makes the deal with the devil, and he's like, F my Boja, I'm gonna take you down. And I'm like, oh, he's on the side of good, and he's going to take down the devil. I'm all into this. I'm Christian. Man, I was so
Sir,
pulled into.
sir, keep your rock
I'm
religion, your politics off my show, sir.
sorry. But my I'm bringing this all back. Could and Todd McFarlane is doing a new Spawn, and it's like, and again, this, that, and the other. Again, if Todd McFarlane's casting, the best person that comes into this movie, best person that comes into casting is white. Should he make this movie?
I think we've already been down this road. No.
Yeah,
It
okay,
shouldn't be Al Simmons.
Yeah, right.
Now you
okay,
can bring
Listen, you
in
don't
you
have
can
you.
bring
It's
in
not
medieval Spawn.
okay, yeah,
guys. If you have 85 years of a character, 20, 30 different iterations, you absolutely gotta take a crack at a different ethnicity. It's cool to do it with Batman, Superman, characters that have already had 100 different versions of themselves. For Black Panther, not so much. We only got one.
right,
You
right,
know, for we haven't even had John Stewart Green Lantern. So
right.
we shouldn't play around with the very first iteration of the character. That's all I'm saying. But if you got an 85-year history, by now you'd have had video games, live action, comics, TV series, animated films. Like you've gotten to see every aspect of all of the majors from Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Anybody that has a family of heroes, they even got a Flash family. Like you see, they got black ones now. So
Right.
yeah, you can do that, and you can be successful. You can change the origin of that original character, maybe in a different multiverse, like Caliber said. But if it becomes so popular and it's raw, and they want to replace him or bring him on in the same verse, it can coexist too, dude. It's not the end. Like they had Cyborg Superman, Superman Prime, regular Superman, Bizarro. They've all clashed in the same verse before, and it wasn't the end of the character. So yeah, you can absolutely do it and have some success, man.
Okay, I agree. Anybody else
And
got any
maybe
thoughts?
Well, when it
Well,
comes to Spawn, I was
go ahead,
just going to say, when it comes to Spawn, I like the way Spawn is written with Todd
mm,
McFarlane. I mean, you can go, like you said, you can go with an older Spawn. That character could be any race you want it to be when it comes to medieval Spawn. But if you're going to go with the story that we see nowadays,
Al
he's got to stay black.
Simmons, yeah, right.
Okay.
Now, if you done did
Anybody?
30 different Al Simmons movies, yeah, that's one thing. But nah, the first one
Okay.
was very bad, and now we got Jamie Foxx, but Todd McFarlane doesn't want to relinquish rights to have another director. So Don't expect
No,
nothing.
Anybody else? Anybody else
he's
got anything
already
to
in
say?
talks of doing another Spawn movie, but he's in control of it. He already written the script, and Jamie Foxx, well, we all know he ain't doing nothing no more.
Okay.
I don't know that. He could bounce back. He's not handicapped. is
You
he?
did hear how he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Bro,
know he got a stroke. Is it?
It's
he
worse
not
than
walking?
that, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
sorry. I was unaware. I'm
Anybody,
sorry.
anybody else got any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like I'm trying to say, the first, I mean, it'd be the first in a long time Spawn movie that we would have. I think he should stay Black
Yeah.
Al Simmons, you know, and just from the little bit I know I wouldn't, I mean, I'd go see a new Spawn movie, but the one that's not Black Al Simmons right now, I don't know. I mean, that's the only Spawn I know, you know.
Mhm.
So from my perspective, I'm like, okay, I get there are other Hell Spawns, but the main one, the Spawn, the one, you know, the Spawn is Black Al Simmons. Changing that, I don't think it would work. Not right now, anyway.
Okay.
Guys, I'm
So-
gonna be honest with you, man. We've been starved so long as fans. You got to realize the floodgates really just opened in what, like 2000? I'm gonna say 2008. The comic book wave really started, right? But you got to think you've been waiting from Christopher Reeve Superman all the way to what, 2008 Man of Steel, and now we're just now being rewarded for being lifetime comic book fans. We haven't even tipped the iceberg of this movement yet and these characters. You know, yeah, we look at the MCU success and say, hey, you know, hey man, they had a good run, but the run is not over. It was 100 years of westerns. That's what I liken the superhero film movement to, is the same movement as westerns. So it's not falling off. It's just the things that started off that we love, they changed. Some got better, some got worse. But dude, we haven't even seen a real X-Men yet, bro. We haven't even seen a real Hulk movie. You know, we haven't really seen a real Justice League movie. Think about what I'm saying. Like, you've seen
I disagree with you there. I think I saw a good Justice League movie. It's called the Snyder Cut.
Fantastic.
Now, as
No,
far as
I-
X-Men, I love the first X-Men movie. I thought that was good.
I said a real one.
That's what I said. I said a real one.
Yeah.
I said a
Snyder's
real
version.
X-Men movie.
When
We
you
got.
gotta hold on, bro.
I mean,
First of
what are
all,
you talking about?
a
What are you talking
do-over,
about?
a do-over. Yeah, you got a chance to do
No,
a do-over, so you finally made
No,
the real one.
it's not even a do-over when the studio doesn't do that. And look,
Yeah.
let
right,
me
I
say
got
this. Let me say this.
let's
We're
go.
getting superhero fatigue because we're putting out such bad ha he Marvel movies. And then you have, now it's like you said, people troll the movie before it even hits.
Right. That's why.
You know, now I personally am not going to go see the new Indiana Jones movie. You know what I mean? But I'm not trolling it. But
Well,
I mean,
let me ask you gentlemen these questions.
I am not going to see a 90-year-old white man swing from a bullwhip. Okay. I don't give a fuck how much I love Harrison Ford.
Let me ask
All
you
right.
all this.
I'm
Let
not
me
going
ask
to
you
see
all
that,
this
dog.
question.
I'm
Okay.
not a believer.
I know Calibus. I know Calibus is a huge fan of Rick and Morty,
oh yeah.
and I know you're also a huge fan of Family Guy and American Dad,
Yep,
The Simpsons, and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
No, not the
Yeah, he
Simpsons. No, not the Simpsons.
Well, maybe at one time.
At one time I was, yeah.
So let me ask you this question:
Don't forget
Should
Harley
it
Quinn
matter?
and what's the
Should it
name?
matter the race of the actor or actress
No, it's a cartoon.
when you're doing a voice?
It's a cartoon. Who cares?
You know who that matters to.
Obviously,
It
we're going to
don't
go with
matter to us,
Calibus.
but you
We're going
know
to start
who,
with
you know who
Calibus
it
because
bothers.
he's the most
You know,
local.
dude, you know the people that are bothered by that, and it's not us, dude. Okay.
Yeah, I
Come
know,
on,
right?
dude. We ain't even
I just-
checked
that's what
for
I-
not 9 times out of 10. You're not even looking to see who the voice actors are. You don't
Right,
care.
You don't even know.
You don't
it's an
even know.
animated
Yeah,
movie.
you don't care.
So
I don't care.
So the people seeking out that information, you know what they about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you whack. You
Look,
whack,
Rashad
man.
said it for me. I ain't gotta say a word. He's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Okay.
You don't even care.
Yeah,
Anybody
you
else
don't
want
even
to?
count.
Anybody else want to jump in on this question?
Yeah, because most people don't even know who the voice actors are at
Right.
all.
Come
That
on,
means
man.
absolutely nothing.
They
And
they
what
lashed out
so
at Chris. They lashed out at Chris Pratt talking about his voice for Mario because he didn't use an Italian accent.
Right.
We
What
talking
does an
about
Italian
Star
sound like?
Lord. We talking
Right.
about Star Lord, man. We talking about
So
Jurassic Park. He led three $1 billion franchises between Lego, Jurassic Park, and Guardians of the Galaxy, and you nitpicking him about how he did a voice on Mario Brothers. For
I
real,
love me
dog.
some Jurassic Park, man. I watch that all day. That's
Come
one of
on,
the
man.
things. I
That's what
like
I'm
my
saying.
Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? But again,
Yeah.
if you know, again, I didn't watch the Mario movie because, you know, again, that's not something. I mean, my grandkids watched it; they loved it.
I heard it was
I
it's
could
dope.
great.
care less
It
about
was
the
great.
voice
I heard
actor
it was
who
dope.
did
I
it.
heard
You
it
know
was
what I mean?
dope. No, I heard it was
So
really dope though.
I mean, you know what I mean? So again, you know, they changed the voice. You know, so many actors stop voicing these characters, especially like on American Dad and Family Guy. Now they only get black actors to come in. The guy that's supposed to be doing Cleveland was this old dude, and now they got this brother doing it, and you can tell it's a different voice. You can tell.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, we've had what 18, 19 years of Family Guy. You don't think we're going to tell a switch up when we hear it? He don't even sound the same. They don't
Yeah.
give him that many parts to say anything anymore because they know it don't sound the same. You know, was it Cree Summer? She did a lot of voices from the 90s, a
Right.
lot of cartoon acting,
Right.
and you know, to me, I don't care it's you know, it's acting for a reason.
So
Dude, you
You
know
you
how
can
many
be
mentioned
years
whoever you
went by?
want
You
to
know how
be.
many years went by before I realized that Mark Hamill was the Joker, dude?
Dude.
Like I
let
didn't
me
even never even think to see who the actor was, dude. I just know that's the joke, and I could tell anytime that it was a different animated film, I was like, that's the same dude from the Batman animated theater. Let me see who that is. Oh, that's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Man, but
yeah,
nowadays, soon as they hear the movie's dropping, they're going to see who the actor is. If it's
Yeah.
somebody that's not the same race as the character, oh, they raising hell.
Well, I
Before the
mean,
But
movie comes out, they're tainting the reviews. You know, they're trying to poison the well, and then the movie comes out and it's awesome.
look,
And it's like,
aside from
like, come on, man. That's the best
aside from
revenge
the
of success.
trolls that be out there, I think in some regard it matters depending on, like, if it's a very ethnic character, let's say someone who's like Asian or maybe Indian. I'm trying to think someone
like
who
Shang-Chi.
yeah, who has like uh
Shang-Chi.
a very distinct, they come from a very specific region in the world. I think because there's character and personality portrayed that, even in the voice, that conveys, like, you could see a voice and be like, man, it sounds like that's a brother, or it sounds like a sister, or I don't know if it would be offensive. It probably would be offensive to say, okay, you got this Asian character, and then it's like a white guy or even a black guy doing the voice. If it was someone black doing the voice for someone of a different, ethnic group,
Right.
I think that would, people would have problems with that too. Like, what, you couldn't find an Indian guy to do this character's voice?
I mean,
Vincent, there's only a problem when the character is the leader. Like, it was cool to know that Panthro from Thundercats was the black dude that drove the tank with the bald head. That was cool. Make him Lionel's voice. Oh my God. They
well,
petitioning.
again,
They
though,
protesting.
with you know, it's like this. When my phone rings, I'm not urbanly challenged. You see what I'm saying? When the phone rings, it's my best corporate America voice. Let me put it that way, okay? I'm straight corporate when it's talking to the doctors or whatever else. Now, one of y'all call me up, we kicking back like we sitting on the porch drinking some Hennessy, okay?
Yo,
It's just
what
that way.
up?
So you couldn't tell, depending on, unless the dude is rolling his R's and whatnot and dropping N's and A's, whatever he's talking with something, you're not really gonna tell. These are actors playing a part. It's just
Right.
like, you can't, you can't have this actor play this gay role because he's not gay. He's an actor.
Right.
That's
why
the
he
whole
trains.
thing.
Right.
What happened to that?
Right. Well,
But
you know,
does
I think. Go ahead, Vincent. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like, and I get what you're saying, Calibus, in terms of an actor, but I personally believe that someone can convey a story, a character better if they have a measure of connectivity to it, right? Not saying that's impossible, because we've seen lots of actors who are like portraying something that's very contrary to them. What was the and y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Matthew McConaughey, didn't he play a role? Didn't he play a gay man or something like that in
And
the movie?
what was it? Oh God, what was
Real
that
big.
movie?
Mr. Byers, what was that? He was
The
Oh, yeah,
Dallas Buyers Club. Dallas Buyers Club.
I haven't seen that movie, but I heard people love it.
Amazing,
right?
He was absolutely
Yeah.
amazing in that.
What movie was that?
Dallas Buyers Club.
Now, does he
that
have
was
to?
great.
You have to say,
Matthew
does he have
McConaughey,
to
right?
have been
Yeah.
gay?
Matthew
to
McConaughey and it was
appropriately-
Jared Leto,
Jared
I
Leto.
agree with you, Vince. He did
Jared
not
Leto
have
was
to be
absolutely
gay
amazing.
to play that role.
aka drug dealer Joker. Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, he did not have to be gay to play that role.
Right.
He was an actor. He was playing a role.
And but that was him. He's very, very good at his job, right?
Right.
So I think everything is connected in terms of casting and all this, that, and the other. If one part of that is off, if they had got the wrong person to play that role, then the LGBTQ community would have been done.
So
You know.
it comes back to casting the right people. If you can sit there and cast the right person and not trying to demean or be stereotypical, but try to be pandering, trying to be as real as you can. To like when the movie Philadelphia, where Tom Hanks plays the gay person with
Antonio Banderas.
Thank you, Antonio Banderas. I believe that.
Yeah, that was a good movie too.
So
what was that?
Philadelphia.
The Experiment. Was it Philadelphia? Oh yeah, it's Philadelphia. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
that's what Tom Hanks when he had AIDS.
Yeah, that was Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Award-winning performance, but again, it comes down to the actor, and I think we all can agree. To wrap all this up, because this could be another hour or another show. But I think we all agree if it's written correctly and organically and from within the culture of whatever that's being written, and it's acted as just as well and casted just as well, anything could be accepted.
If you put the talent and the dollars behind it, yeah.
Yes, of course. That
Am I gonna hype it and champion for it? I may feel it's wrong, but if I go in there and it's done right, I gotta shut up. That's the bottom line. Like, because when they were talking about Blade with Wesley Snipes, I was like, why are they doing Blade, man? Blade was no sweet character in Marvel Comics. Like, that shit is whack. But when I sat down and I seen the Daywalker Wesley Snipes get busy,
right,
I was like, oh, I didn't even.
But you can't see him being a white person though, right? He's got to be Blade. Has to be a black guy.
No, but he got to be Blade at least 9-10 more times before you start playing around. That's what I'm saying. By now you got 4 generational fans, bro. You can't just do that the second time, and you haven't fleshed them all the way out. You see what I'm saying? Like they've given you young 2-year Batman. They've given you before he turned Batman. They've given you old man Batman. They've given you Batman, monogamous Batman, with him and Catwoman married. They're giving you player Batman, where he's hitting Zorana, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, everybody in the town. They're giving you so many layers of the character that I'm comfortable now saying, okay, what if Bruce Wayne grew up African American? What if he grew up Indian? I'm cool with that. But not like, no, not with Batman Beyond. No, he's a whole different thing, man.
Now, see, you know what I love about this is because this is some of the things that I said about some of the DC movies. Like we get Harley Quinn, and then she's with the Joker, right? Joker comes, busts her out at the end of the movie, and then the next movie, she's done with the Joker. We got a taste of what that little craziness was like, and now you switch it up.
Right.
Because this is in the comic books, they're going to put her on a brand new path.
Right.
She's done with the Joker. She's going to be bisexual now because she's going to be in love with Poison Ivy. And as a fan, I'm sitting there like, you gave me one movie.
You need to see that history of her and the Joker together.
You have to of him.
Right.
But hold on,
all that other stuff.
Hold on. I don't disagree with you, but the Harley Quinn cartoon, man, that is the funniest cartoon I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Look, I'm not even going to dignify that.
Have you ever watched that, Calibus? You cannot like Rick and Morty and American Dad and not tell me that.
Yeah, actually,
bro, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Look,
that movie is on the that show, dude. That show is on the same level. That cartoon, the Harley Quinn cartoon. Come on, dog.
Look, I don't care for it because it's nothing but foul language and that's not Harley Quinn, bro.
Right. Yeah.
That's something that they put up there just to sell. You know what I mean?
It was a comedy. It was made to be that. I understand.
I understand that. I understand that, and it's the same reason I don't watch Lower Decks. I don't like my Star Trek watered down.
I love Lower Decks.
This is a whole nother show because again, this is like somebody who's a diehard fan of said IP, and somebody who is casually familiar.
Yeah, that's
with
basically
said
what it
IP.
is. Right.
Like you sit there, you want to talk about Star Trek, and you want to sit there and talk about Star Trek animated. Calibus and I are fans of the,
original animated fan,
the original animated series, and then when you sit there, you watch Lower Decks. Lower Decks fails in comparison to what the original animated is.
Yeah, but I don't even know what Lower Decks is, so I'm not even commenting on that.
So exactly.
I'm not even there. But I am familiar with the Harley Quinn. I'm familiar with every iteration of Harley Quinn from the animated series to comics to
for
this
you,
new
Rashad,
show, and I like the different versions that they presented us so far. I like
Rashad, for you, it would be like taking G.I. Joe and doing
a slapstick comedy.
Doing what's the Jim Carrey movie with
on the missions in G.I. Joe?
What's the Jim Carrey movie?
Staying inside that are running the base, their perspective, but in comic form.
Calibus, what is the Jim Carrey movie with Jeff Bridges?
Dumber and Dumber?
Take G.I. Joe and do Dumb and Dumber with it.
I got you. But listen, you're not understanding me. That's cool when you've had success and given the fans what they wanted first. After you've done it 9-10 times, okay, now we can make a slapstick airplane version.
Okay, but what we're telling you
is
Harley Quinn didn't get that.
That's what we're telling you about Star Trek Lower Decks.
I'm telling you Harley Quinn didn't get that because she
sure didn't get it.
I'm not talking about those. I don't know about those. But
that's what we were talking about.
Harley Quinn, but
we were talking about Lower Decks
because
like that.
I don't got nothing to do with Lower Decks because I don't know what it is. But Harley Quinn, I can relate to Harley Quinn.
That's good. Look, that's good for you as a casual fan, and I know people that are casual fans that like it.
I'm more than a casual fan.
But that means take that shit somewhere else. Take that bullshit somewhere else.
Y'all not allowing me.
Well, look.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I am not a casual fan.
Obviously, you are if you like that show. Yeah, you are if you like that show, man. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Don't worry,
gentlemen. Gentlemen, let's bring this.
You know this ain't over, right?
Look,
you know this ain't over.
Look, it's going on 2 hours and 33 minutes. 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Can I vote for the next show? What the next show topic is?
What's the next show?
We're gonna go in about this Flash movie, this C+ at best Flash movie that came out.
Look, we should start with that Marvel trash and then go on. Or you know what we could do? We can discuss the trashy movies that G.I. Joe has been turning out. What about those? Let's talk about those.
How about this? We will defer.
That's like saying the sky blue. That's cool. I'm cool.
We will defer, and we will post whatever the next show is.
Okay.
After having the discussion amongst us.
No doubt.
All right.
All right.
Fellas.
So thank you, thank you for everyone who tuned in. And I thank you, my brothers, for showing up and participating
Yeah,
in this
sorry I was late,
conversation.
y'all. My apologies,
Happy
man.
Father's Day, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Love, peace, and
Oh,
hair
yeah.
grease. We out.
No doubt.
Later.